The TFSA, tax-free savings account, is essential for beginner investors. Recently, I've been on an investor tour with the Blossom team. I'm super grateful for the opportunity to speak with so many new investors in person. But guys, I have a serious issue to address. What I found out is some of you are making the same mistakes that I used to make when I opened my first TFSA. You see, the tax-free savings account is not really a savings account, but I don't blame you. The name of this account is misleading. In this video, I'm going to clarify 4 common mistakes that new investors should avoid. If you are somebody who is actively buying and selling your TFSA, swing trading or day trading, make sure you are not making one of these mistakes that could cost you more money than you think. If you did, it's okay. It's not too late to subscribe to Joyee Yang and hit that like button. Just kidding. Please cut that. Number 1, the money that you deposited is not tax-free. True story. When I was 18, the bank teller told me to open a TFSA. The name tax-free sounded pretty good to me, so I registered for a TFSA, and I was told to put money into it regularly. So I did that for a while, thinking that I was going to pay less taxes or maybe getting a higher tax refund. It turned out I was so wrong. I didn't get any tax benefits at all for putting my money in my tax-free savings account. Here's what I wish someone had told me clearly. A TFSA is not a magic savings bucket. Deposits themselves are not what's tax-free. What's tax-free is the growth inside the TFSA. That means the capital gains you make when your investments go up is tax-free. Dividends and interest paid by your investments are also tax-free. I'll explain withholding tax later. When you withdraw your money in a TFSA, that's also tax-free. If you only deposit and leave cash sitting there, you're not using the real benefits of the TFSA. Of course, you won't owe any tax, but you also won't earn anything. The TFSA only shines when you invest the money in it. Here's a beginner way to think about it. Cash sitting in a TFSA equals safe but idle, literally not doing anything. Cash invested in a TFSA, however, is working for you, and any gains it makes are yours to keep tax-free. When you withdraw later, you keep all of it and pay no taxes. So the move is simple. Open TFSA, put money in it, and invest with that money. If you don't know what to buy yet, start with beginner-friendly ETFs so you're diversified from day one. That's literally how I began, and I'm still doing the same thing after all these years. If you want to know the 3 beginner-friendly ETFs that I'm buying in my investing strategy, comment ETFs and I'll send you the free tutorial that you need. Number 2, the annual contribution limit myth. Just so we're on the same page, contribution room just means the amount of money that you are allowed to deposit. The government limits how much money you can put into your TFSA because they don't want you to just put $1 million in there and then make money with that $1 million tax-free. That would be insane. That's why there are contribution limits. I once argued with a stranger on Reddit who swore you could only put $7,000 per year into a TFSA, period. They even said I get a letter from CRA because I invested more than $7,000 in my TFSA. They were so wrong. This is a very common myth that even seasoned investors would get wrong. Here's the truth. Your TFSA room is cumulative. You get new additional contribution room every calendar year starting the year you turn 18 and are a Canadian resident. If you don't use it, it carries forward forever. Carries forward means that if you don't contribute $7,000 this year, you can still use the same $7,000 contribution room next year. But next year, the government allows even more room, maybe an extra $7,500. So the next year, you have your $7,000 unused room plus the $7,500 new contribution room, making the total that you're allowed to deposit into your TFSA $14,500. And every year, you're allowed to contribute even more and more and more. Our job is to keep track of how much we can contribute, and if we ever withdraw money, just make sure that you know this. This is also a very common TFSA mistake. I would know because I argued with someone on Instagram about this. Withdrawals create more room to contribute, but you can only contribute again in the next calendar year. If you withdraw $5,000 from your TFSA this year, that exact $5,000 is automatically added back to your contribution room on January 1st of next year, not the year you took that money out. Don't get stressed. Let me explain it very simply. Let's say you are allowed to put in $7,000 in your TFSA this year. And let's say this year, in 2025, you put in all $7,000. That means you've hit your contribution limit for this year. You cannot put any more money in your TFSA this year. Here's something else I want to get off my chest. I had another argument with someone else about this. If you contribute $7,000 and it grows to $1 million inside your TFSA, that full $1 million is completely tax-free. Now, if you withdraw the $1 million, your TFSA contribution room increases the following year by the full withdrawal amount. In this case, it's $1 million, plus the new annual contribution limit for that year. So yes, in the next year, you can recontribute the entire $1 million back into your TFSA, even though you only ever initially contributed $7,000. People get confused about that. But also be extra careful because if you over-contribute to your TFSA, you do need to pay a penalty. The penalty is 1% tax on the excess amount. The excess amount is simply if you're allowed to put $7,000 into your TFSA and you put in $7,500 instead, you're only taxed on the extra $500, not the entire $7,500. Let me keep it simple for you. Your available room today equals all annual limits since you turned 18, minus everything you've contributed up to now, plus anything you withdrew last calendar year. Write this formula down in your notebook or take a screenshot, guys. Or I will fight you in the comments. If you do take a screenshot, feel free to tag me on your Instagram story. I always love to reshare them. Here's my pro tip for you guys, and it will make your life easier. All you gotta do is log into your CRA My account, which is the account that you use to check your tax filings and any tax credit available to you. You will find your official TFSA contribution limit. If the number says $45,000, write down that number as a reminder for yourself. And another pro tip to make sure that you don't overcontribute is to use a broker that shows you the total TFSA contribution room in the current year, because you'll want to keep track of how much you deposit every calendar year. Brokers like Moomoo and Wealthsimple have really beginner-friendly apps that will show you this amount. If you need a better investing app, check the link in my description because there's always additional bonuses and cash rewards that you can get using my link. Okay, just 2 things to remember, guys. 1, track how much you have deposited in a calendar year. And 2, don't withdraw and recontribute in the same year unless you are sure you have unused room. Otherwise, you can trigger the 1% penalty by going over your total limit. Number 3, dividends do get taxed, but it's not what you think. I know, some of you were so ready to tell me, Joyee, you're so wrong when I said earlier that your dividends earned in a TFSA are tax-free. Well, to be more precise, dividends you earn from investing in a Canadian company is tax-free. So if a Canadian company pays you a dividend in Canadian dollars, it's tax-free. You don't have to report them on your tax return, you don't get a T5 for them, and the money just lands into your TFSA and that's it. There is one small wrinkle beginners mix up: the US dividend withholding tax. This is only applicable to you if you hold US stocks like Apple and Tesla, or even a Canadian ETF that holds US stocks like the S&P 500. Side note, I hope everyone that's watching this holds some US stocks. Hopefully your portfolio isn't just in Canadian stocks or just in US stocks. You should actually hold stocks in all countries. Anyway, back to the point. The US government already skims off 15% of the cash dividend before it even hits your TFSA. For example, Coca-Cola pays you $10 in dividends, but you only see $8.50 in your TFSA. That 15% is withheld at the source, which means there's nothing to file, you don't need to do anything extra, you just receive your portion of the dividend income and it's entirely tax-free in your TFSA, or up to you to withdraw. Unlike the US stocks, if you hold Canadian stocks/ETFs that pay dividends, there's no withholding tax. If a Canadian company pays you $10 in dividends, you get the full $10 in your TFSA, still tax-free. So short answer, TFSA dividends are tax-free. The only time you see a small cut is when the US takes its standard 15% withholding on the US dividends. That's normal and automatic. So don't avoid dividends in a TFSA because of the US withholding tax. I still love getting paid to hold great assets, and that income compounds tax-free inside the TFSA if you reinvest that money. If you want a beginner-friendly dividend starter pack, the exact ETFs I've used for passive income, comment dividends and I'll send you my step-by-step tutorial. Number 4, avoid short-term trades in your TFSA. Here's my simple rule that I will always tell my viewers. I don't day trade, trade the news, or swing trade in my TFSA. Because the whole point of using a TFSA is to build predictable, tax-free capital growth and passive income, not to gamble. Nowadays, many brokers allow users to trade options in their TFSA. This is the riskiest thing to do. The real reason why you should avoid trading in a TFSA is because there's no clear line from the CRA. The CRA has audited TFSAs that look like a trading business. As long as they think you have very frequent speculative activities in your TFSA, they probably will audit you. The CRA also doesn't publicly share what the exact rule is. I tried to look it up, but there's no published safe number of trades that you can take in your TFSA in a year. If the CRA decides you're carrying on a business in your TFSA, your gains could be taxed, and that defeats the whole point of a tax-free savings account. What I like to do with my TFSA, which may be a boring plan, but it works very well, is to buy and hold broad long-term assets. For example, my top holding, VFE, is an ETF that gives me S&P 500 exposure to the strongest companies in the US, and ZEQT, which gives me international exposure. I also automate my contributions monthly, which is how I dollar cost average into my investments. I automatically buy more no matter what the price of the stock or ETF is. Sometimes I buy at high prices, sometimes I buy at low prices, but over a long period of time, my average price evens out. I also set up automatic dividend reinvesting so that my dividends buy more shares for me, and that snowball grows tax-free. If you're new here and this feels refreshingly simple, that's the point. Your TFSA should be the least exciting account that you own, and the most powerful one over the 10 years. If you want my exact TFSA investing guide, comment ETF and I'll send you the video. All right, everyone, please keep your TFSA simple, track your contribution limit if you have a lot of money to invest, and let compounding do the work for you in the long run. If this helped, give this video a like so more people can find this video and learn with us. And don't forget to subscribe for more realistic investing videos like this. You can continue learning from my free beginner investing playlist over here. See you in the next video.